Hi, friend.
Hello, friend. Good morning.
Morning. I actually have to ask about that painting behind you. I
Oh.
feel like that's one that I haven't seen before.
Well, it is not a relative of Brian's, although we like to pretend, but it's a charcoal painting. We call him the General, but it was from Canada. And if you could see, it's like a charcoal, like
Ah,
engraving. But yeah, of
do
course,
you have any
yeah,
specific
I like
meaning?
art. And
Yeah,
he's paired with, I don't know if you can see her over here.
I can.
He's super strong and adding some feminine energy to our home.
Yeah, no, I love that painting. It's gorgeous.
I think
Top of your-
Women's History Month. Is that
Yeah,
Women's History
it
Month?
is.
Women's History.
Yes.
Gosh, but women are so current, so
It's true. We are still here. So,
question these things. So
yeah.
tell me about your backdrop. This is new.
Oh, it is new. So this is called the Magical Forest, and we are now settling into our new place. So
Yay!
it just went up this morning. We had to do a little bit of work here. There was some little
Yeah.
imperfections that we took care of, but it's very fun. So
It is fun.
yeah.
And there's like a calm about you, I imagine, after having done moving.
Yeah, so it was just Friday that the movers came and brought everything. So I've spent the past couple of days kind of unpacking and getting stuff up on walls. So I'm tired, but I
Okay.
it does feel good to have most of it behind me because moving
Yeah.
is really terrible.
Oh, good. Now
Yeah,
get to cooking, making some food in the new digs. I love it.
for sure.
I love it.
So I'm super excited about our guests today.
Me too.
Yeah, because I actually don't know them and don't know much about them. So that's sort of an unusual position for both of us to be in where we
Yeah.
really, yeah, don't. So let's go ahead and welcome
Bring
them.
them on. Come on down.
Oh, no.
Renoj and Carol. Oh,
Wow, that was a total Princess Bride entrance. That was amazing. Good job.
that was a little
Karen.
groove going on there.
I know.
Giving me some dancing beat.
Yes. So for all of our St. Peter's family out there, this is Carol and Renoj, and we are excited to talk to them because they're the first people that we're going to talk to that actually found St. Peter's and started attending during the pandemic. So they have never been, on site in our building, in our parish, in the sanctuary, and all of that stuff. So I just think that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
So since we don't know you and no one else knows you, do you guys want to just take a couple seconds to kind of introduce yourselves, where you are, how you found us, all that stuff?
Sure. So I actually got in touch with Christine a few years ago. I write about religion, and I was just like writing a story about like just Christianity and feminism. And I reached out to Christine, and she was nice enough to like send me some quotes for the story. And then a few years later, Renoj and I were married, and we moved to the Upper West Side, and we were looking for a church to call our own. And then we found All Angels, and we saw that Christine was there, and we're like, why don't we check it out? And we loved it because Renoj is from a Pentecostal background. His family's Pentecostal, and my family is like Anglican communion, but in India. So like very kind of like traditional, like high church. So it was like a good kind of mix, All Angels. And then we moved to Hoboken, and in New Jersey. And we found that before we had like a 3-minute commute, and then we started having like a much longer commute. So it was a little harder to get out. And then the pandemic happened, and we realized that St. Peter's was doing virtual. So we decided to listen in, and we've been listening since when? Since like last summer.
Yeah, I think the first Sunday that I really heard, Carol's playing in the background, and I heard Alicia's message on Passover. And I was like, whoa, what is this? And I sat down and had my full attention. I was like, I want to check this out next Sunday too. We just kept checking it out. And really felt like we had checked out a few churches in Hoboken during the pandemic, but this is the first church that we checked
Before
out. Yeah, before the pandemic. And this is the first church that we heard after we went to Hoboken that just felt like home.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
love
it was Christine and Leisha, like this combination. We are heavily armed with very
Powerful
wise.
women.
And our deacon, I mean,
I was going to
yeah,
say we are
we're like
very
the triumvirate. Yeah.
yes, with very wise and heart-filled people. So yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that story.
Well, that's a great story. Well, we're so excited to have you guys on. And did
I,
you participate also in the care groups? Sorry, Christopher. Did you
no,
have
no, no,
something?
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, we participate. We're in the care group right now, and Renoj sometimes joins the Tuesday morning, the mighty band of prayer warriors that meet together on Tuesday mornings. And yeah, we're so excited that you guys chose us to be on The View. I feel like celebrity
She's excited. I'm nervous. But
because I actually do watch.
You.
I watch like every time you guys have The View on and all
Oh,
the other stuff. So I'm
yay.
like, I feel like I know you guys.
This is like the closest to fans that we have. Christopher. I feel like we're on our way now. The trajectory.
I know. We just one contract away from like, some church renovations here. If someone picks us up. And at home, Thomas is saying hello, Aaron Lee, Catherine, Mr. Osborne, and even my husband Brian. Everyone is just welcoming you into this space. So I'm glad you're here. Quick question, because we all like a good little story of connection. How did you two meet?
Well, we have known each other since we were 7 years old, but we haven't we only started dating after college. But we're from the same, so our families are from imagine India, and then on the southern tip, there's a little chicken strip looking state called Kerala. And our families are from there, and people from Kerala are called Malayalis. So there's just a very close Malayali community in Rockland County, New York, and we're from the same community. And then my grandmother is a very she's such a cool woman, and she leads this interdenominational prayer group for Malayalis in Rockland and Westchester. And his dad is a Pentecostal preacher and would preach at those prayer meetings. And that's how our families got connected. But then we only started dating after college.
yeah, that's when we met when we were 7. There was a big. When I first met Carol, I was wondering why. I don't know why we were going to this house and having to sit through this whole prayer meeting. But I met her grandmother, such a lively woman, and she is one of those people that if you live within a 2-mile radius, or if you're set foot within a 2-mile radius of her house, she needs to give you 8 pounds of food to feed you and your family for 3 weeks. So we walked away with so much food, but also we were gifted. My brother and I was 7 and he was 4, and we were gifted this set of Pokemon markers. It was 80 markers, and we kept it for years and years. And I thought, wow, that's so cool. And that was a big memory I had. Only later did I find out that Carol was resenting me for having those Pokemon markers.
Were they yours, Carol? Did you give them away?
She just re-gifted my gift without ever asking for permission. So.
Do you still have them?
Yeah, where are those Pokemon markers now?
I think they dried up after years of continued use, but it was only after college or during college that I realized Carol is still resenting me for this. Maybe that's why it took till after college for her to date me.
Well, it's all out in the open now, so you guys can really work through that. Yeah.
And even if an object like markers can keep you together, even if resentment turns into romance, more power to you. Oh my gosh, Pokemon, are you listening? I see a marketing campain here.
That's what we need to be.
Are they going to become our church sponsors?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Pokemon.
If only. I love it. Well, we are so delighted to meet you. Obviously, you're putting smiles on our faces, and I think those at home who are watching too. But the reason we bring you on here is to get to know you, and one way to get to know you is a round of rapid fire questions. 10 rapid fire questions. Martha, would you like to go first?
Sure. Okay, so we'll start with an easy, kind of silly question. If you were an ice cream topping, which one would you be?
I was prepared for a lot of questions, but not that one.
Yeah, we try to put some curveballs in there so that people can't predict the questions that we're going to ask.
I really love the ice cream topping where you like put like a liquid thing onto an ice cream and then it hardens up.
Magic shell.
Yes, that. I like that.
I think I'm an M&M because sometimes people think I'm crusty on the outside, but I think I'm soft and sweet on the inside.
I like that. All right.
We would get along. That ice cream topping is one I haven't had in a very long time, where it like turns into a shellac. Oh,
Yes.
I love it, and I love M&Ms too. So.
And I just don't care.
I love it. Well, here's a getting to know you one. What are your hobbies?
You want to go?
No, this is all you.
I love reading and listening to podcasts. I read a lot of fantasy books, and I listen to a lot of like weirdly like niche, like kind of British comedy, British podcasts. So,
what are a couple of your favorites?
well, I listen to like the standards like This American Life and Radiolab and Code Switch, but then there's also this like BBC Friday night comedy podcast that I listen to. There's this like podcast about this woman called Ramblings who like just does these like pilgrimages and walks all around England and takes these celebrities with her. And they're just like walking and talking and describing the landscape, and it's amazing.
Amazing. And because if people are into sci-fi reading, they are very specific about who they read. Who do you read? What sci-fi books do you read?
I feel like there's just been this like flourishing of like women of color writing fantasy, YA fantasy, and I love all of that stuff. There's just a lot.
I love it. Women of color writing. Yes.
Very Women's History Month. Good job, Carol. Renoj, how about you?
Oh my God, my hobbies are a lot less interesting. I love just hanging out with my friends, which has been harder during the pandemic. But I do try to catch up with people, either on the phone or by text as often as I can. I love going out for walks. I also kind of getting more into Carol's hobbies, just because I'm surrounded by it during the pandemic. Carol listens to these British comedy podcasts every time she's showering, so I'm hearing all the jokes in like a British voice throughout every evening as well. So like and also like she has a stack of fantasy books that she reads late into the night. Sometimes I think Carol falls asleep with me, and then I wake up at like 3 a.m. and she's like reading with a nightlight under the covers these fantasy books.
That's dedication. Oh my gosh. We're probably kindred spirits too. waking up to do an activity. Very cool.
That is very fun. All right. So next question to dovetail on some of that. What is something that has surprised you during this pandemic?
I think we joked around all the time how much if we were like spending so much time together, we'd probably end up like killing each other. But we actually really enjoy each other's company for extended periods of time. That was something.
Yeah, I didn't expect to like enjoy like. I mean, I guess we're married. I didn't expect that to happen. But I'm had a lot of you over the past year, but I'm good with it.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think we're gonna miss each other after the pandemic is over and we go back to work.
You hear that, Brian? I'm not the only one.
This is like, yeah, I actually am surprised that I really like my spouse.
It's like, oh, I made a good choice.
Well, we started dating in 2012, so you think after 9 years, maybe we would run out of things to talk about, but we don't. We keep each other laughing and talking. I'm still really interested in all her hobbies.
An endless fascination, right? It's just like, we have a joke in our house to say stick around, because there's always something that comes up. It's like, I didn't know you like that, or I didn't know. It's like, well, just stick around, because there are many surprises to be found. So, that's great. Okay, here's another getting to know you sort of thing. What is your favorite thing about your profession? And of course, you'd have to tell us what your profession is.
Okay, so mine's a little complicated. Because I'm a religion reporter, but I was recently laid off, so I'm just like loving that life right now. So I kind of like in this place where I can kind of figure out what I want to do. But I guess if I'm talking about religion reporting, the thing that I love the most about it is that it leads to all these amazing conversations about God and meaning and purpose. And I feel like these are the most important conversations anyone can have or ever. I just feel like it's the best beat on in the news industry. So yeah, I love having these conversations with people and seeing all the different beautiful ways that people connect to divinity. That's what I've loved. What about you?
I'm a lawyer. Right now I'm clerking. I'm taking a break from law from life, and I'm working for a federal judge and helping write decisions and manage cases. And I think what I love most about that is, one, I get to see a wide variety of law, because I used to work just with patent law, and now I work on every type of law. Everything from civil rights to telephone spam to child custody to patents. And I really enjoy the variety, but I think that what I love the most is helping. In the ideal situation, when things go right, you're helping dispense justice, or helping people get the legal relief they're entitled to. And so when it works out right and it works out ideally, I feel like I'm being part of the process in a good way, and that's satisfying.
Yeah.
That's great. What a great answer from both of you guys. Thank you. All right. So what is your go-to for relaxation or rejuvenation?
I just like if I have like a day off, my like the biggest like kind of pleasure would just be to like go out to like a coffee shop in the before times, obviously, and like read a book and have a like, nice like cup of hot chocolate or something. And it has to be raining.
Oh, it has to be raining. Okay. That's a lot of things to coordinate. Okay. All right.
How do you find happiness?
I know, it's just like, the sound of the rain. It's just like so. Yeah.
That is very
ideal.
specific. Like, you know,
I love being surrounded by my friends. And so for my 30th birthday before the pandemic, we had all my social circles. Carol threw a giant party, and I just love that. It's a little harder in the pandemic, but I do try to spend time on the phone or on Zoom or just catching up with friends or going for a long walk outside as often as I can. And that gives me rejuvenation, definitely. And sometimes, though I am learning in the pandemic to get rejuvenated by myself a little bit more. And so for me, that might be a long walk outside by myself to clear my head and get some air. I work in a job where I'm spending a lot of time staring at a screen and reading and writing. So it's nice to take a break from that and move around.
Are you guys extrovert and introvert? Yeah. Through. How do you feel like you manage that piece? Like, does that ever sort of come to a head where maybe Renoj needs more social connection because he's an extrovert, and Carol, you need like a little less because you sort of recharge by being on your own? Or
yeah, oh my gosh, this was really hard in the beginning of our marriage, but I think that like two things, therapy and conversations. We have a lot of communication now. I think before we just like expected the other person to just come along with whatever we were doing, but I think we need to have like conversations and communication about. Yeah,
definitely. And I think we're both like learning from each other. So I think I'd like to think one thing I can help Carol with is like developing connections with more people and more meaningful relationships, and outside of the circle that she's comfortable with. I think one thing that Carol really helps me with is I'm not as perceptive. I think sometimes to people on the outlier of a social circle, or as thoughtful. And so Carol helps me realize, hey, this person might be a little bit more anxious, or this person might be feeling a little excluded. And she helps me realize that that's happening when I'm like totally in my own zone and be a little bit more thoughtful about what's going on.
If anyone knows about the Enneagram, I'm a 9 and he's a 7. So it's like, that's how.
Wait, what are I don't know the numbers as well as the names. What is a 9 and what's a 7?
The 9 is like a peacemaker. So I'm very kind of like, I like to have like kind of calmness in my life. And the 7 is more like kind of very like, extrovert energy and kind of like has a lot of FOMO. Yeah.
Christine is a 9, apparently.
It is. Yeah.
Fear leaves me out. It is wonderful to hear you. You are like a beautiful example of coupling. Is what I'm learning through this conversation.
Wait, how long have you guys been married?
3 years.
3.5, yeah.
3.5 years. Yeah.
But we've been together, I guess, 9 years.
Mhm.
9 years. Yeah. And then, of course, at 7, everything started rolling.
Yes.
And was definitely always destined to end up here. So,
Our whole lives have just been working towards this and marching towards this moment.
true. I fear that this interview is going to be the apex of both your marriage and your lives, and then it goes downhill after that.
No.
It's been great, Carol. I'll see you later.
No. I think it's just the setup, like in golf, just like set up for the next big, and off you go to some other beautiful aspect of your relationship.
I see the half glass full guy over here and the half glass empty lady over here.
It's called balance, yeah.
Accurate, actually.
Well, here's a one. In your 3 years of coupling, what's your favorite go-to weeknight dinner and why? And recipe, please.
Yeah, I feel like with me and cooking, it's like a 50-50 chance it'll come out edible. So it's like, I feel like
But I eat 100% of it.
no.
But yeah, but you have to cook something. So even of the inedible, what's your favorite go-to weeknight dinner to cook?
I don't even know. I guess like I make like a vegetarian chili.
That's
which I
really
like.
yummy.
That's a good, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great thing.
So Carol's vegetarian and I'm not, but she's really gotten me into vegetarian food. And I never thought I would like vegetarian chili, but here I am eating it.
So what's the trick, Carol? What's like to a vegetarian chili for you?
Well, I think it's just there's like this site called Minimalist Baker, and she makes a lot of great like it's the vegetarian chili from her, and I think she just has like a lot of like other proteins in it to make it kind of heavy, I guess. Yeah.
Will you cook meat for Renoj, or Renoj, you have to just get your meat quota somewhere else?
I tried a little bit in the beginning of our marriage, and it kept coming out like literal rubber because I just don't know how long to cook it. So I just kind of gave up, and now it's just
I've been learning to cook meat through HelloFresh, and like there was like these meal kits, and they had the pictures and the word for word, and we got a meat thermometer, and that helps a lot. But I always just felt like I never asked Carol to cook meat for me, but I always felt like it was such an act of love for a vegetarian to cook meat. So even if it was tasting like rubber, I would try to eat it because it came from a place of love.
Oh,
Sweet.
I love it.
Oh, you guys are becoming my favorite. You're so cute.
I bet you say that to all your Zoom invitees, don't you?
Girls watched most of our view things. Have I said that to anybody?
We say it in different ways, perhaps very specific to each individual.
That is very true, Christopher. Wow, you are so judicious, Christopher. I really need you.
We do appreciate everyone. I love it. And as far as meat, I mean, that's what friends are for, right? To go hang out with them and like dive into some barbecue or some fried chicken. Brian's vegetarian and I'm not, so we've had to learn too. Like, where will I get that meat source? So that's what friends are for. Around. I love it.
Okay, so next question. This is the easy one. What's your favorite movie?
Ooh.
I don't know. It's really hard for me to choose those things. I guess it's really silly, but I love Christmas movies like in general because I love Christmas so much. So I think I know it's kind of very vague, but I just love Christmas movies in general.
Which one do you love a lot? The Holiday.
Yeah.
That's the only one we have on DVD in this house.
The Holiday? Do I even know that?
It's like Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet and like it's like they're all like in it, and like I think the thing that I love a lot is that like Cameron Diaz goes to this like little English countryside kind of manor, like little house, and it just seems so like quaint, and there's snow falling all the time.
I love the English countryside.
English.
If you haven't learned already.
It has to snow if she's in English
Yes.
countryside. So. All right, Renoj, how about you?
Ooh, I probably The Social Network. Just because I love David Fincher as a director, and I love Aaron Sorkin as a writer, and I love Trent Reznor, his music, and that movie has like all the things that I love in one movie, and so I could watch that movie again and again.
Very cool.
Wow.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Either one of those movies, actually.
I with The Social Network, I don't know if Facebook's a topic I'm interested in so much, but I just love the filmmakers behind it, and they do a great job.
Got it. Okay.
Great. Here's one that I'm excited to hear. What's your philosophy in life?
Something I try to tell myself, kind of checking into the last answer, is like when things are kind of tough, I always kind of remind myself that there's always Christmas. It's like this kind of reminder that like time is so long and time is so big, and I just love the energy of Christmas, how it's like, it seems like the whole world kind of comes together, like at least like in New York, or if you're in a country like America, where it's like, it's kind of like everywhere, and it's so warm and cozy. And so it just reminds me that like if I'm going through a tough situation, that there's more to life than what I'm going through, and that Christmas is always going to be there.
Oh, like that.
I love it. Kindred spirits. I keep mentioning Brian because by mid-July I'm like, it's almost Christmas. That I say.
Keep like, I feel like it's like a flood, like just kept in by floodgates. Like every July, I try to like slowly put in like Christmas things like around the house that he doesn't notice.
Around September, I noticed like the gingerbread soap holder. I'm like, wait, when did this end up here? Where did this come from?
Brian is just said Renoj is looking at Carol like he would look at me.
It's a sneak attack. It catches me off guard. I'm like, in September, I'm just like, wait, where did all this come from? When did this come?
Well, but it's good. It is good to be kept on your toes and just seeing if you're being observant and all of that stuff. So
I am kept on my toes in this house.
Renoj, what is your philosophy?
Oh, my philosophy is more of an aspiration because I'm not as good at it as I want to be. I used to always like tell myself, pray hard, work hard, play hard, in that order. Sometimes the order gets mixed up in my life, but I try to go for that order and just be fully committed to what I'm doing, whether it's my work, my friends, or my relationship with God.
I like that. Succinct. I like that.
Love it.
That's a good one. All right. My last question. What breaks your heart?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I think I would say what breaks my heart is when people are kind of like ignored or kind of mistreated because they aren't able to speak up for themselves, or aren't being like seen as humans who are deserving of dignity and are made in the image. You know, when people are like overlooked in that way, that always makes me feel like so. Yeah, it definitely breaks my heart when that happens.
Renoj, how about you?
For me, it's been in this past year. Something that's really broken my heart is seeing family members who I really respect and who really, when I was growing up, taught me right from wrong, and who are very intelligent and people I look up to. When they fall for conspiracy theories or fake news, that hurts me because I know they're good people and I know they're very intelligent and they taught me everything I know, and maybe I put them on a pedestal, but when I see them kind of fall victim to this disinformation this past year about whether it's politics or coronavirus, it does hurt me in a special place.
Yeah. It's complex, right? People are so complex because it's easy to sort of make that black and white distinction of like, oh, those people believe all these conspiracy theories and so they must be in this sort of like bucket. But when you personally know them and you know love them and you know that they're much more complex than that, it's hard. It's a hard place to sort of ride that line. So yeah, I hear that.
Very relatable heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
And here's the last question. If you were a superhero, what powers would you want to have?
That's a great last question, Christopher.
That's
a good question.
I think I have one. I think I would like to be able to time travel and place travel. Is that too much? Does that make me too powerful? I don't know. I just like to, I think as like, a woman, I feel like the past times might not necessarily be like the greatest times, but it would just be good to like dip in and out, like just go and visit and see what's going on and see what it's like, and then come back, and then to be able to see the future. I think I always thought that was one of the many things of like one of the many heartbreaks of death is that you're not able to see how the story ends in a way. So just to be able to like go into the future and see what life is going to be like.
Oh my gosh. I've always thought of time travel as going to the past, but I never thought of it going to the future. You have exploded my mind and my imagination. Sorry, Brian, if you're catching me off guard. I'm probably thinking about the future. Wait a minute, I do think about the future, but I usually worry. That's amazing, time travel.
That's pretty cool.
Renoj, how about you?
I think, my coworkers asked me what my current superpower is last year, and my answer back then for my current superpower that I already have is no matter what situation I'm in, I'm so flexible, I can find a way to put my foot in my mouth.
That is true.
Thank you. But if I had to say the superpower that I want to have, we live on the 16th floor, and so sometimes when I can't focus on my work, I'm just looking outside and I'm just seeing all these birds flying around, and I wish I could be one of them sometimes and just fly around. Maybe one time I saw a bird just start right at my apartment and just go across the Hudson River to Manhattan in under like 45 seconds. I just wanted to be that bird for a second and skip the PATH train and end up in Manhattan. I went skydiving with my brother like a decade ago, and I just remember those 3 minutes were great. I wish it could last longer.
Wow.
Something I wish.
Yes. Someday I'll fly away. In this life to yesterday. That puts both of your superpowers together. Anyway, looking outside the box here. My goodness. This is an amazing 10 question rapid fire, even though it wasn't rapid fire, but it's never rapid fire.
It never is. We're too chatty. That's the
problem.
But you guys are perfect.
And you two are
they are my favorite. Did you
You two are fascinatingly interesting, and I think according to this chat list here, you have increased your friend circle manifold.
Stop making me feel emotions, Chris.
That's what I do. I'm a theater person. I'm supposed to make you feel. But if there's anything to get out of this is hashtag Christmas is coming. And the lesson of work hard, play hard, pray hard. I mean, these are like t-shirt worthy slogans here.
It's very good. And I think that someone might gift you guys some Pokemon markers this Christmas. So, Carol, that's for you.
Will our relationship finally be restored with the Pokemon?
We'll get 2 sets. How about that? One for each of you. So there's no.
I love it. Carol, Brian just tiptoed over to me right now to say to everyone that we finally took our Christmas wreath down off of the front door yesterday. So.
All right. Well, it has been lovely here last time, so we are going to let you guys go, but it's been so fun to talk to you and get to know you.
What a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you for having us on. I feel so like honored.
This has been on her bucket list for a while.
Well, we feel honored then to be
feel
on your
honored.
bucket list.
Thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
spirit, your love, and your wisdom.
Yeah.
And for everyone out there, goodbye. Have a good
Bye.
week.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Ole, 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 ole.